in this country, there's racism, like you've mentioned, and there's sexism, and there's minority groups are not treated fairly. And so I think I believe, and a lot of people believe, that we should take certain steps to amend that. The argument against DEI that I've heard is that while its purported intentions might be good, the actual actions and consequences of DEI is that you are creating racism because you are explicitly favoring some groups of people over others, and you're removing meritocracy. So, what do you think about DEI?
Yeah, so DEI at the end of the day is diversity, equity, and inclusivity. And at the end of the day, it's about giving people equal opportunities, especially those people who do not have equal opportunities. It's not about favoring one group or the other, but it's about giving individuals who didn't have a boot or bootstraps because they had a boot on their neck a chance. See, those people who make the claim about meritocracy oftentimes are ignorant and blind to racism and white supremacy as an operating system of America. And what do I mean by that? In America, since the inception of this thing called America, the classification of race only happened in the 18th century, white and black. It didn't exist before then. And white was designated for white landowners, those who were usually wealthier, light-skinned, and to demarcate them from the lower class, which was black people, indigenous. And at that time, even those who weren't considered white, Irish weren't considered white, Italians weren't considered white, right? So when it comes to meritocracy, it would have been great. I would believe in meritocracy if indeed there was equal merit and equal reward for merit. Women didn't have the right to vote. Women in 2024 still get paid less for the same amount of work. People of color, by virtue of simply their skin color, don't get as many interviews, don't get callbacks, don't get loans. You know, you've seen those stories that are coming out, they're more and more viral, where once the couple that made a bid on a house was found to be black, the bid was removed, right? Like you've seen law enforcement come and like take out people who are literally trying to enter their own home because they're black. That just gives you a taste of how America has not been equal and is still not equal for the rest of us. Those of us with the wrong complexion, those of us with ovaries, those of us with the wrong last name. And so DEI measures as a goal is to just make the playing field equal. If you truly believe in meritocracy, we do too. Just give us a shot. Give us not a special shot, an equal shot. And so DEI measures are put in place to remedy this obscene 300 plus year history of the playing field being completely rigged for often those who are straight men, and often not always those who are white or can appear white. And so the small measures of DEI that have been implemented, what people don't realize, and it's a flip side of both coins. Let me put it this way. If you are willing to attack Muslims, right? Well, look what just happened the past week. It was first Haitians, which has led to terror threats, which has hijacked Springfield, Ohio, including non-Haitians. City Hall had to be canceled. Schools have to be canceled, right? So in this zeal to root out quote unquote evil Haitian immigrants, which is all bullshit, the entire town is under siege. Then it moved on to Jews, where Donald Trump blamed the Jews if you were to lose. Now there's a target on Jews. And then this week, the target is on Muslims. It makes all of us what? Unsafe. Increases stochastic terrorism, divide and conquer. Now, flip side, you know, everyone blames black folks. And what we've seen in the data is if you tell Americans, especially white Americans, that there's a policy that will help black people, they will be more opposed to it. But when you look at civil rights movement, for example, and black people simply fighting and marching for DEI, Martin Luther King was all about the DEI, folks. What happened as a result of the civil rights movement? There was something, Jake, that got passed called the 1965 Immigration Nationality Act. I would not be here sitting in America as a U.S. citizen, born and raised in the Bay Area, talking to you without the Immigration Nationality Act. On the heels of the civil rights movement, this other DEI initiative came through, and this DEI initiative called the INA, 1965 Immigration Nationality Act, removed the 40-year quota that was placed on immigrants, which limited immigrants from coming from all of Asia. And it was placed in the early 20s. It wanted to limit Eastern European Jews and Italians because in the 1920s, the invaders weren't Mexicans and Muslims. They were Jews, Italians, and also Asians. So as a result of these DEI measures, we have freedom. We have more Americans that come here, that it's a more diverse country, and we have been able to achieve little by little the American dream. And so these DEI measures, Jake, what people don't realize, end up helping everyone. Child tax credit ends up helping everyone, right? Look what happened. They took away affirmative action, right? Did you see the latest studies? Who'd it hurt? All people of color. Black enrollment went down. Asian enrollment went down, right? And affirmative action, by the way, a little fact that people don't like mentioning is that overwhelmingly it helped white women. So these measures are actually, in turn, used to help people, the most marginalized people.
How did it help white women? Sorry.
Because the affirmative action policy, if you look at the greatest beneficiaries, because people only look at it through terms of education, but if you look at the greatest beneficiary of affirmative action policies, it's actually been white women, which is amazing. And then also, if you look at Asian Americans,
is it looking at income, or what makes them benefit?
Income, employment. They've been one of the boons for it. But oftentimes, you put the boogeyman of black, the welfare queen, right? And so it becomes easier based on what I was saying. When you tell Americans, "Oh, black people are benefiting," they're like, welfare queen, blah blah. You know, these tropes. And then they put the Asian face on it as the plaintiff, right? And you saw the divide and conquer technique. Look, affirmative action, it hurts Asians. It's based on meritocracy. They put an Asian plaintiff, Asian versus black, and they took away affirmative action. And who did it hurt? Black people and Asians. And so DEI policies, not every policy has succeeded. You have to be intentional about it. Yeah, what's about the end goal? But DEI now, let's be honest, Jake, and we should be honest, has been weaponized very deliberately as a boogeyman by the right wing, by Christopher Rufo, a right-wing culture warrior who has openly admitted that he has weaponized the term CRT and DEI as a boogeyman to advance right-wing politics. His words, not mine, openly admitted it. Just came out, folks, last week that Christopher Rufo, anti-DEI, Christian conservative warrior, is married to a formerly undocumented woman. His wife is a formerly undocumented woman. And oh, by the way, his email was also on Ashley Madison. And DEI has been used as a boogeyman to kill African-American history. AP classes in Florida. It was used to try to kill it in Georgia, but because there's an election right now, the Republicans took it away. It has been used to attack LGBTQ folks. A horrific number of laws have been passed to restrict freedom of Americans, attack drag queens, attack women, ban books. They also used to ban books in Nazi Germany. And so the attack on DEI has actually hurt American freedom and liberties and actually destroys this whole concept of America as being a pluralistic society.